You aren't actually addicted to your phone. You're just terrified of what you'll hear if you put it down for 5 minutes and actually listen to your own head. Most of us can't even walk from the bedroom to the kitchen to grab a glass of water without scrolling through a feed or putting on a podcast. We become absolute experts at filling every single second of our lives with some kind of noise. We treat our own thoughts like they're a monster under our bed, and as long as the music is loud enough, we can pretend it isn't there. If you've ever felt that weird, itchy anxiety the moment your phone dies or the internet goes out, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You aren't bored, you're being hunted by the things you've been trying to ignore for years. Think about the last time you truly sat in a room with absolutely no noise. No fan, no music, no background video. Just you. Most people can't last 60 seconds before they start tapping their foot or reaching for a screen. We live in a world that is designed to make sure you never have to be alone with yourself. Every time there's a gap in your day, whether you're waiting for a bus, sitting in a waiting room, or just lying in a bed, there's $1 billion company waiting to fill that gap with a ping or a notification. We call it staying connected, but it's really just a way to stay disconnected from our own feelings. We've turned our brains into a giant radio that's always tuned to static, because if the signal actually becomes clear, we might not like the message. I want you to imagine you're standing in an ancient city. It's dark, it's cold, and every single step you take feels like a massive risk. You're holding your breath, sneaking around on wool blocks, doing everything in your power to not make a single sound. You know that if you trip or if you accidentally break a block, those skulk sensors are going to pick it up. And if they pick it up enough times, something is coming out of the floor that you aren't ready to face. This is exactly how a lot of us live our lives. We're sneaking through our own days, we stay busy, we stay distracted, and we keep the volume up at 100% because we know that the moment things get quiet, our own internal vibrations are going to trigger something deep inside of us. Those skulk sensors are the little triggers in your day. It's the quiet room, the long shower, or the 5 minutes before you fall asleep. The vibrations are your thoughts, the what ifs, the regrets from 3 years ago, or that deep feeling that you're just pretending to know what you're doing. We treat our internal problems like they're an unstoppable force that will ruin everything if it ever catches us. So we keep sneaking. We keep the wool blocks under our feet. We make sure there's always a screen between us and the dark. But have you ever noticed how exhausted you feel after a day where you basically did nothing? You didn't go to the gym, you didn't have a hard day at work, you just sat around and relaxed on your phone. But by the end of the night, you feel like you've been hit by a truck. That's because it takes a huge amount of energy to constantly run away from yourself. Imagine trying to hold a beach ball underwater. Doesn't look like you're doing much work if someone just sees you standing in the pool. But your muscles are screaming because you're fighting against a force that desperately wants to come to the surface. Your brain is redlining while your body is sitting still. You're tired because you're in a constant state of high alert, making sure the sensors in your head don't go off. The scary thing about the dark is that the monster doesn't just go away because you're quiet. He's always there, waiting in the floorboards. In fact, the longer you spend sneaking, the more terrifying he becomes in your imagination. By trying to avoid the vibration of your real feelings, you're actually just trapping yourself in a dark room with them. When we bottle things up, they don't disappear, they get worse. That tiny bit of stress you had months ago that you didn't have time to deal with has now turned into a giant wall of burnout. That one awkward conversation you've been avoiding has turned into social anxiety that stops you from leaving the house. We think we're being strong by ignoring the noise, but all we're doing is feeding the thing under the floor. Eventually, you're going to run out of wool blocks. Eventually, the battery's going to die on a long car ride. Or you're going to be stuck in a situation where you can't escape the silence. The sensors are going to go off, the darkness is going to close in, and for a second, it's going to feel like the world is ending. But here's the secret. The monster can't actually hurt you if you stop running. If you just stand still and face it, you realize the monster is just a part of you that's been neglected for too long. That voice in your head that says, I'm lonely or I'm scared, isn't an enemy. It's a signal. It's your brain trying to tell you that you need something to change. When you finally stop the noise, when you put the phone in the other room, turn off the music, and just sit there, it's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to feel like your skin is crawling. But if you stay there for 10, 15, or 20 minutes, something amazing actually happens. The monster starts to look less like a beast and more like a mirror. You realize that things you were so afraid of are just thoughts, and thoughts are just sentences in your head. They can't actually kill you. The only way to get out of the dark is to stop being so afraid of it. You have to become the kind of person who is okay with being bored and okay with being alone. Give yourself 10 minutes every morning before you check your phone. No music, no coffee, and just you and the wall. Go for a walk around the block and leave your phone on the charger. Notice the trees. Notice how annoying the cars are. Notice the vibrations in your own head. If you have a thought that scares you, don't scroll away. Sit with it. Ask it, why is it there? Treat it like a guest in your house instead of an intruder breaking in. You don't get better at mental health by finding better distractions. You get better by becoming harder to distract. You become someone who can walk through their own mind without needing to sneak around. The moment you stop running away from the quiet is the moment you get your life back. When you stop fighting your own thoughts, you suddenly have all that energy back. You'll find that you aren't as tired as you thought. You aren't as broken as you thought. You're just exhausted from the chase. Start small today. Don't try to solve your whole life in one afternoon. Just try to survive 10 minutes of silence. Let the sensors go off. Let the thoughts come up. Look them right in the eye. You'll find that once the noise stops, the real world actually starts to look a lot brighter. Stop sneaking through your own life. Get comfortable with the quiet, and you'll find that the dark isn't actually that scary once you stop trying to run through it.